Hi, I'm CEO of Nosh Detox and my name's Geeta Sidhu-Robb. And the thing about being a health expert and the thing about being a health guru, which is a terrible phrase, is that actually everybody expects you to live really well and to eat really well and to not have any bad habits. The thing is, I'd like to break that taboo because I've had bad habits. I have some that are still there, but not maybe really appalling ones anymore. I smoked. I smoked for 10, 12, 15 years. We're not going to tell my mother because we're hoping she's not going to be listening to this because good girls don't smoke. But I smoked. And the thing about a habit is, it didn't matter that somebody told me that it was going to kill me. It didn't matter that somebody told me it was a really stupid thing to do. It didn't matter that I knew I shouldn't be doing it. I loved it. I loved smoking. My bad habit and I got on so well, I couldn't see any reason I wanted to give it up. And it took me forever to want to give it up before I gave it up, to some extent. You know who you are and you know what I mean, don't you? There is this thing where somebody says, that's a really bad habit, you should give it up. After you want to slap them, the next step you think is, well actually, it's not really that bad, or I can control it, or well actually I'm managing, so who are you to tell me I should and shouldn't do this? And all of those things do go through your mind, and they went through my mind. But ultimately, it did affect my health. Ultimately, it affected my breathing. Ultimately, I smelled. Ultimately, it took time away from my kids because I would walk away from my children in order to smoke. But in fact, that was the interesting thing. I smoked because it took me away from the kids for that little bit of time and brought me back when I'd had a little bit of time off. And people used to say to me, how can you smoke when you have kids? And I'd be like, I have 3 kids under the age of 7. Why do you think I smoke? Because I got to go away and then come back. Now, then somebody said to me, why don't you just walk out of the room and take that time out, but don't actually like the cigarette? And I thought, I know it sounds really thick, but it had never occurred to me. So I did. I walked out the room and did that and then came back. Now I'd like to say I immediately stopped smoking then. I didn't, because it had become an addiction, like most bad habits are. We call them what we want to call them, but ultimately we're addicted to how they make us feel, so it's really hard to give them up. So I didn't want to give it up. But it kind of created the first crack in my desire to continue smoking. And after that, I went and I got help, and then I stopped smoking. This is what I want to offer you. The thing about having a bad habit, the thing about somebody you love having a bad habit, which is worse, is that you can see them having it. You can see what that habit looks like and feels like, and you can't help them to give it up, because what do they say to you? I've tried everything, nothing works. Don't you think I would have stopped if I could have? Oh God, that's just somebody else making a promise, and no, they can't actually help me. And what do you mean, why do I do it? I like doing it. That's why I do it. And then they slap you and we all move on. Now, I'm not talking just about smoking. I'm talking about smoking, I'm talking about eating too much sugar, I'm talking about drinking Diet Cola, I'm talking about that funny thing about working till the middle of the night and then coming home without any sleep. I'm talking about not ever actually sleeping at the right time because then you're tired. I'm talking about the fact of over-exercising, actually, because you know it's really not good for you. There are so many things that qualify as bad habits, but we've kind of gotten into the groove of doing it and we haven't gotten into the groove of not doing it. That's where I want to help you. I want to help you to give up those bad habits. I want to help your loved ones to give up those bad habits. Because you can't actually give up a bad habit by trying things sequentially, one by one by one by one. Because it is never one thing that made you go off and pick up that bad habit. The thing about everything we do is, whether we admit it or not, it has a benefit for us. I got a benefit out of smoking. You get a benefit out of eating too much sugar. You get a benefit out of being tired. You get a benefit out of being irritable. If you weren't all of those things, you would never continue to do it. If sticking a pin in you doesn't give you a benefit, you're never going to repeat that. I'm sorry, but it's just never going to happen. When you come to someone like me, who sits there and has this wealth of background and knowledge and experience in all kinds of different funky approaches to making you feel, look, and be better, what we do is we sit down and we talk about every single thing that we can use and apply as skills and as tools to help you to break that habit. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about working for a very short period of time, meeting once every 2 weeks, not insurmountable for anybody. Skype, telephone, as long as I can speak to you, sitting in front of me, also good. As long as I can be speaking to you, I don't mind where you are. And to helping you nail down how to break the back of that bad habit. To see more, to hear more, to read more, see down there.